Hi everyone, our topic is public sentiment analysis during the COVID-19 period. Our team chose such a topic because we were really interested in how people's mind states were affected by this virus. In particular, we wanted to know what are the things that really important to people during this difficult time. Here's an overview of the steps we took to achieve this goal. We extracted 100,000 COVID-related tweets per day from March to May. Then we trained four models using tweets from previous years so that we can correctly and accurately label the sentiments. After applying the models in our current data, each tweet was assigned with a sentiment score from -1 to 1. And lastly, we picked some keywords that we were interested in and performed factor significance analysis and time series on those keywords. Now I'm going to walk you through the models we trained for our projects. The first two models we trained are neural-based NLP models. The idea is to embed English words into a high-dimensional vector space. This allows us to manipulate English words as mathematical vectors. So here we see a small sample of two-dimensional word embedding. Where you see the point representing queen, we can view this as king minus man plus woman. And the last two models we trained are local classification models. The idea is to represent the tweets by the occurrence of a unique combination of words using one-hot coding. Then these vectors are modeled and classified using local classification methods. In this case, we used random forest and decision trees. The advantage of these classification method is that we can capture phrases that are not appeared as proper English. Here we have an example of words that were captured by our model in our training data as negative sentiment. Obviously, we used the tweets from the year of presidential election. And here you can see that our model captured the phrases that is obviously expressing some very negative emotion. As a result, each of our four models will produce a sentiment rating for each tweets from -1 to +1. Then we use an ensemble model to eliminate potential model-specific error. Okay, let's take a look at our analysis. Firstly, we have our trend analysis. Here we have a list of words that we were interested in. This figure shows that the public sentiment towards the keyword compared with this orange trend, which represents the overall sentiment of the public. If you click into any specific day, the bar chart below shows that how many times that the keywords has appeared during that given day. An interesting finding here is that the number of occurrences of vaccine has been increasing over time. This implies that the public has paid more and more attention on vaccine development. A possible explanation for this is that people started realizing that vaccine might be the only solution to terminate this virus. Let's use vaccine as an example. If we take a look at the vaccine trend, we see that on the day of European authority announces that the vaccine will not be ready for the next year, we see that people's sentiment really reached the bottom. But a few days later, when Johnson & Johnson said they may produce 1 billion coronavirus vaccine for the next year, people's sentiment rise very rapidly. The high correspondence between the news and the public sentiment really tells us that the public sentiment are driven by the information from media broadcast. Besides examining how the public sentiment changed over time, we're also interested in the correlation among the keywords we selected. We built a set of shallow neural networks using each keyword data as the response variable to measure the local gradient so that we can capture the potential nonlinear relation. The higher the magnitude of the local gradient, the more impact it has on the response variable. For instance, if we pick overall sentiment, we see that SARS is the most significant key term. This is because that sometimes we refer COVID-19 as SARS-CoV-2. Flight can be viewed as an indicator of mobility, whereas isolation can be viewed as an indicator of containment. The high significance of these two keywords shows that the public sentiment were largely influenced by the limitations set on their mobility. We chose the keywords ventilator and vaccine because we believe they represent the current and future public health welfare. Interestingly, Trump has a very negative significance on both of them, implying that the more supporting voice towards Trump administration, the lower expectation the public has for present and future public health.